So, good morning, students. And today we will continue with the same chapter which we have started from Monday, that is control and coordination. Now, student, till now we discussed the coordination in animals. Now, in coordination in animals, we discussed about stimuli, we discussed about response, human nervous system, what are the types of nervous system. Then we also discussed about the human brain, the function of the different parts of the human brain. And today we will be starting the coordination in plants. Got it? Now, students, what do you think? The plant also have the nervous system like us? What is your answer? Through the chat box, you can send me the reply, yes or no. What do you think, that the animals, like the animals, the plants also have the nervous system or the muscles? What do you think? To the chat box, you can give me the reply. Yes, Anushka, Nitika, they are saying no. Correct? No. Arya saying yes. Okay, it's a science. If suppose you're not knowing, you can have, or you can say, someone can say no. Someone can say yes, definitely, because it's science. Because after some basis only, you will come, or you should come to the conclusion that whether my answer should be yes or no. But maybe if you are having the previous acquired knowledge, no problem. So there, yes, Arya, I will get to your point and I will make it clear that why you are saying yes, but the answer is no. Why the answer is no, I will come definitely. Okay, fine. Anushka said maybe no, sir. Okay, no problem. It's a science. Now, the plants don't have the nervous system. Have you heard the plants are having nerves? The plants are having brain? No, this is the correct one. We have never heard. But the plant can respond to the stimuli. Can you give me any such example from your day-to-day life where you can say, stimuli, you all know from where we have done the definition of stimuli, that is any change in the surrounding which causes to show some response, that is the stimuli. Now, any example from your day-to-day life where you can say that plant is responding to some external stimuli? Just raise your hand. No need to write in the chat box. No need to write in the chat box. Raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Okay, Anjali very quickly has written in the chat box. No, not Anjali, it's Anushka. Okay. Okay, Anushka, I'm coming to your point. Yes, sir. Just a minute. Yes, Tafshil. Tafshil connectivity. Okay, that's yes. Anushka, unmute yourself. Example
yes,
from your day-to-day life where you can find that the plant has
the touch me not plant.
Okay, touch me not plant, very good. When we touch the touch me not plant,
it begins to fold when we touch it.
Yes, okay, good. Anushka, any other example, students? Any other example from your day-to-day life observation? It's not like that you have to know this, but definitely you must have noticed, but you can't recall now. Okay, let me give you a few examples. Suppose you are keeping a potted plant, okay, on the window side, and from one side of the window light is coming. After some days, what change you observe in the plant? Does it bend towards the light or away from the light? What change you observe in the plant after some days? Suppose the plant is here and the light is coming from this side. So will the plant bend after some day towards the light, or it will bend away from the light? What do you observe? Okay, Nisha said towards light. Very good. Towards light. So light is the stimuli and the plant is bending. Remember, student, there are two types of movement in the plants. One is called dependent on the growth and one is independent of the growth. Now, what it is, the terms are coming to them. Actually, there are special term. Let me write for you this term. There are two types of movement in the plant. One is called tropism or tropic movement, and the other is called nastism or nastic. Just nastism. Just a student has entered the class. Okay. Nastism or nastic movement. Nastism or nastic movement. Tropism or tropic movement, nastism or the nastic movement. These are the two types of movement in the plant. Now what it is? Now the first one, the tropism or the tropic movement of the plant is the movement, directional movement of the plant, towards the stimuli due to growth. For example, when a seed is germinating, you can see in this image also, which we have highlighted over here. When the seed is germinating, the roots are growing towards the gravity or towards the soil. So this is a directional, dependent on the growth. But if you touch the leaves of the touch-me-not plant, the scientific name is Mimosa pudica, the leaf is shrinking, but it is not following a particular direction, and this is growth independent, and it is not dependent on the growth. So this type of movement is called nastism, which is growth independent, and the growth dependent is called tropism or the tropic movement. Am I clear to you? The first, remember student, there are further subdivisions of the tropic movement and the nastic movement also. There are subdivisions of the tropic movement and the nastic movement also. That we will do later on. But first of all, if you are considering the movement in the plants, the plant movements are of two types. One is a tropism. It is also called the tropic movement, which is dependent on growth and directional towards the direction of the stimuli. But in nastism, directional, non-directional, growth independent, and not toward the direction of the stimuli. Am I clear to all? The two type of movement is clear to all? To the chat box, you can give me the reply. The two type of movement is clear to all? Yes or no? Okay, fine. Yes, Tafshir, yes, you got disconnected. Now again you have joined. Okay, Tafshir, I'm recapitulating for you. Tafshir, we said that the movement in the plants are of two types. What are these? Suppose you have kept some seeds in the soil which has started germinating. Now you will see that the roots of that seed, the germinated seed, now move towards the soil. Okay, and the stem comes up. So when the growth of the plant is, when the movement of the plant is dependent on growth and in a particular direction, towards the direction of the stimuli, then it is a tropism or the tropic movement, and the other is the nastism or the nastic movement. For example, touch-me-not plant. If you are touching the touch-me-not plant, it bends, or we can say the leaf shrinks randomly, irrespective of the fact that the stimuli is applied from which side. And this is growth independent. And that is why this type of movement is called the nastism or the nastic movement. Is it clear to you, Tafshir, now? Tafshir, is it clear to you? Tafshir, is it clear to you? Just. Is it clear to you, Tafshir? Okay. 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 Yes. Yes, Anant, now I think you have joined. Yes, okay, yes. Yes, I've admitted you because on the back side of the slide, it was waiting was not visible. Okay. So is it clear to all? Now we will come to the next part. Now students, we will come to the different types of tropic movement and the different types of nastic movement. Okay, Anant, no problem. Now the different type of tropic movement and the different type of nastic movement. Now let me use my whiteboard. Okay. My whiteboard is visible to all. Okay, fine. Okay, yes, I got the feedback. Just now. Now we are coming, student, to the types of tropic or different type of tropism, tropic movement. A very important part. Now the first one, number one, phototropism. Phototropism. Student, from the name, can you guess who can be the stimuli over here? Phototropism. From the name, can you guess who can be the stimuli over here? Very good. Very good. Yes, correct. Very good, Anushka. Yes, all the students have given the correct answer. Yes, the light is the stimuli over here. Definitely light. Light is the stimuli over here. Now see, student, if I'm asking you regarding, if suppose I'm giving you two parts, the stems and the root, which part will show the response toward the light? Which part will show the response toward the light? Very good. It's the stem. And which part will grow away from the light? Yes, stem of the shoot is correct, which grow towards the light. And okay, which part will grow away from the light? Definitely the root. Very good. So student, what we will be saying over here? Root is negative phototropic, while stem is positive phototropic. Got my point? So what is phototropism? It is a type of tropic movement. It is a type of tropic movement which is dependent on light. Or phototropism, directional movement in the plant in response to light. And in this case, the root is negatively phototropic. Why it is negatively phototropic? Because it is growing away from the light, while the stem is positive phototropic because it is growing towards light. It's a phototropism clear to all? Phototropism is clear to all? Because one by one, we'll be doing all type of tropic movement. Okay, very good. Now, the second type, number two. The second type, number two. The second type, number two, is now hydrotropism. Hydrotropism. Here, the stimuli is water. Stimuli is water. So it is a directional movement of the plant in response to water. That's why the term is coming hydro, water. Now, student, let me ask students. Okay, Anushka, unmute yourself, Anushka.
Yes, sir.
In this case, Anushka, which part of the plant in stem or root will be positive and which part will be negative hydrotrophic?
Sir, roots will be positive and shoots will be negative.
Negative. Okay, Arya. Arya, unmute yourself. Arya, unmute yourself. Yes, Arya, unmute yourself. Perhaps not getting it. Okay, okay. Anand. Anand, unmute yourself.
सर ट्रॉपिक मूवमेंट एक बार और समझा दीजिए.
Acha, you have joined the class later, that's why. Okay, okay, let me recapitulate. Tropic movement, as because he has said he has joined the class later on. See, tropic movement means directional movement in the plant. Suppose you are saying we have kept a potted plant near the window. From one side of the window, sunlight is coming. The plant is bending toward the light. So light here in this example is the stimuli, and it causes the growth of the plant. That means directional movement in the plant towards the light due to growth. So this type of movement is called the tropic movement. And now we are coming to the subdivisions of the tropic movement. Is it clear, Anant, now? Okay, Arya, okay. You have some network issue. Okay. Okay, Arya. Anant, is it clear now? Anant, through the chat box, give me the reply. Okay, fine. Okay. Then Archit, unmute yourself, Archit. Archit, unmute yourself. Archit, unmute yourself. I think not going. Okay. Let me ask. See, students, whenever you are attending the class, you should be, it's not a problem if you say the wrong answer, but participation should be there. Na? Okay, Nisha, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Nisha, you tell me, as Anushka said that root will be positive hydrotropic and stem will be negative hydrotropic. Why? Why she said this?
Root will be positive because its growth is towards the stimuli, and
Towards the stimuli. Very good.
Will be,
correct. Towards the
stem
stimuli.
will be negative because
it's growing away. Very good.
Stem
correct.
will...
Yes, correct, Nisha. Very good. Now the third type of tropic movement. The third is geotropism. Geotropism. Now, stimuli. Guess what is the stimuli over here, student? Who is the stimuli in case of geotropism? Geography. Very good, Harsh. Very good, Anushka. Anant. Don't say the subject, Anant. Geo, from the word geo. Okay, Shamriku, in a way it is correct. Riya correct. Nitika also correct. Yes, that is gravity. Very good. The answer is gravity. Correct. Gravity. So again, my question to you all, that means directional movement in the plant in response to the gravity. Then in this case, who will be positive geotropic and who will be negative geotropic? Quickly, all the students raise your hand. So many students are there. I will give you a chance. Who will be positive geotropic and who will be negative geotropic? Who will be positive geotropic and who will be negative geotropic? Okay, Anushka, very quickly, always very active. Anushka is very active throughout the online class. Very good. Yes, Anushka?
Sir, roots will be positive and shoots will be negative.
Negative. Very good. Very good. Correct. Okay. Okay, Anushka, correct. Now, next we will be coming to the next type of tropic movement. That is the fourth type we will be coming now. Number 4. That is now phototropism we have done, hydro we have done, geotropism we have done. Now see the very important chemotropism. Chemotropism, a very new term to you all. For this, let me go to my next slide so that the terms will be even more clear to you. Is the just is my this slide is visible to you? It's written coordination in plant movement toward growth. I've changed my slide. This slide is visible to you. Just yes or no. You can write. Okay. Fine. Okay, Nisha. Okay. Yes, Anushka, you raised your hand. You want to ask anything? Unmute yourself. Do you want to ask anything, Anushka?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Just now see, we are to discuss the chemotropism. Just now, a very, very important part, students. Why? If you can see, student, this diagram. All of you look to this diagram. Just yes. Students, parts of the flower you all know, and this part which is highlighted over here, this part which is highlighted over here is the female reproductive part of the flower. This is a stigma, this is style, and this is the ovary. Okay. Now the pollen grains comes and sit over the stigma. What is the name of this process, student? We are to discuss chemotropism. Chemotropism definition, I'm telling you, directional movement in the plant in response to some chemical. That is why the term chemo is coming. But when I'm highlighting this diagram, I asked you, the pollen grains are coming and sitting over the stigma. What is the name of this process? What is the name of this process when the pollen grains comes and sit over the stigma? When the pollen grains comes and sit over the stigma. Yes, correct. Pollination, correct. Pollination. This in the junior classes you have studied. Now, when the pollen grains comes and sit over the stigma, this is a pollen tube, which the pollen grain comes and sit over the stigma, and you all know from the pollen grain male gamete will be released, and the pollen tube moves towards, or the pollen tube grow towards the ovary. So this directional movement of the pollen tube towards the ovule is definitely controlled by a sugary substance secreted by the stigma. This stigma secretes a sugary substance which control the growth of the pollen tube towards the ovary. And this is the example of the chemotropism. Is it clear to you, chemotropism? Yes, students, it got disconnected in between. Again, it is audible to you, and just my screen is getting loaded. One minute. Yes, my screen is visible now. My screen once again is visible now. Okay, fine. Okay, so now, so different type of the tropic movements. Okay. And now, just a just a moment. Let me bring the slide again. Students, from this diagrams, remember student, from just 2 to 3 years back, here you can see types of tropic: phototropism, geo, hydro, chemo, plus one more type of tropic movement I will do, which is not mentioned over here. That also I will do, that is the thigmotropism. Okay, thigmotropism, the fourth type, thigmotropism. Let me bring that again. Yes, thigmotropism. Thigmotropism. Thigmotropism means directional movement in the plant due to touch. Okay, for example, you student, you see a support is given and the tendrils of the plant coil around that support. Yes or no? So it is a directional movement in response to touch. Without touch, this movement cannot occur. If suppose a support is provided, like the money plant growing, you are giving a support and then it coils over it, the tendrils coils, and that is why this is thigmotropism. Is it clear to all? Now, students, see one very important thing. A few years back, a trendy question has started in the board examination. They write that write an activity to show phototropism. This is given in NCERT also. You can see over here how this activity is being designed. That a potted plant is kept, and from one part of the window sunlight is coming. The plant is bending toward the light. The plant is bending towards the light. Just a minute. Yes, Anant. Do you want to say anything, Anant? You raised your hand, Anant. Yes, Anant. Go ahead. Okay, maybe some network issue. So you will design this experiment in this way, that if a potted plant is kept on one window from where sunlight is coming, after a few days you will observe the plant is bending toward the light. So this is an activity to show phototropism. Then if in the examination it is asked to discuss an activity to show the geotropism, then definitely you can design the experiment in this way. That is, again, a potted plant is kept and that potted plant is bended. Now you can observe that at the bottom of the vase or the pot, there is a hole, and through that hole the roots are emerging, and the roots are emerging and going towards the gravity or the soil. So this very activity will tell us that the plant is growing towards the gravity. So this activity also we can design, or we can tell in the our papers when if the question is coming on this basis. Okay, hydrotropism also a very clear example of hydrotropism. Suppose some sprouts are kept on a mess. Okay, a mess is there and some sprouts are kept on the mess, and below the mess, a wire mess, water is kept. You will observe that the roots are coming out from the sprouts toward the water. That is a hydrotropism. That is a hydrotropism. Okay. So these are the examples which can tell us. Yes, Anant, again, I'm asking you, you raised your hand. Do you want to say anything? I unmuted you, but no voice is coming from your side. Anant, through the chat box, now you write. Reply through the chat box. Okay, by mistake. Okay. Okay, take it. Okay, Anant, no problem. No. Student, now we will be also coming to the next type of movement, that is a nastic movement. Okay, the next type of movement, that is a nastism. Let me share my. Now, the second type of movement in the plant, that is nastism. Okay, nastism. What is nastism? Non-directional movement of the plant in response to the stimuli. It's definitely stimuli will be there, but one is a non-directional and growth independent, and the other is directional and growth dependent. So because in the examination you can also get this question, that what is the difference between the nastic movement and the tropic movement. So one point you will definitely write, that tropism is a growth dependent and nastism is growth independent. Tropism is directional while nastism is non-directional. Now the types of nastism. Number one, photonastism. Photonastism, the opening and the closing of the dandelion flower. When the light is present, the dandelion flower opens, and when the light is not present, the dandelion flower closes. So irrespective that from which direction the light is coming, the plant is opening and the plant is closing. So this is an example of the photonastism, opening and closing of the, let me write this, opening and closing of dandelion flower. Yes, opening and closing of the dandelion. Yes, correct, Harsh. Of the dandelion. Just a minute. Dandelion flower. Okay, this is the example of the photonastism. Then comes the next type of nastism, that is thigmonastism. You have heard the term thigmotropism. Can you guess the definition of the thigmonastism? Anyone? Can you guess the definition of the thigmonastism? Raise your hand. Because we have done thigmotropism. Can you guess the definition of the thigmonastism? Anyone? What is thigmonastism? Okay, Nisha, very quickly. Okay. Unmute yourself, Nisha. You raise your hand.
In directional movements towards the gravity.
Directional movement towards gravity. Why, Nisha? Why you are confused?
Sir, in directional movements towards the gravity.
Gravity to geotropism, na? Think, Nisha, once more, no problem. It can be there sometime. We can be wrong also in our conception, no problem. Okay, Anant and Anushka raised. Okay, this time Anant. Thigmonastism.
Non-directional movement due to touch.
Very good. Non-directional movement in response to touch. Very good. Now, the best example for this is the touch me not plant. Touch me not plant. The scientific name of touch me not plant is Mimosa pudica. This is the scientific name of touch me not plant. Simply, if you touch the touch me not plant, the leaf shrinks, and after some time again, it come back to its original position. Now, this type of nastic movement, or this type of the movement in the plant, is called the thigmonastism. Remember, student, this question is maximum time asked in the examination. That is, what is the difference between photonastism and the phototropism? Photonastism, phototropism. What is the difference between thigmonastism and thigmotropism? Okay. Okay. Now, at the end of today's class, now I will, okay, Anant again raised his hand. Anant, unmute yourself.
Sir, thigmotropism का example.
Thigmotropism. Suppose a pea plant. Okay, the pea plant, suppose one bamboo stick you have kept, The pea plants is growing with the help of the tendrils. So the pea plant is touching the bamboo stick and it is coiling and growing upward. Okay, so this is an example of the thigmotropism. Is it clear, Anand? Is it clear, Anand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, student, toward the end of this class, now let me interact with you what you have learned from today's class. All of you, I'm giving you the option to unmute yourself, okay? All of you can unmute yourself by all the participants. What is the term given to the directional movement in the plant due to growth?
Tropic movement.
All the students should speak. Anushka, no need to raise hand. I have given the option, you can unmute yourself, unmute themselves. So just you unmute yourself and you answer. What is the name of the movement which is given, which is non-directional and growth independent?
Nastic
Nastic
movement.
Very good. Nastic movement. Good. What is the name given to the type of nastic movement due to light?
Photonastic movement.
Photonastic.
Very good. What is the name of the movement given due to growth? What is the name given to the movement, tropic movement due to growth towards gravity?
Geotropism.
Excellent. Geotropism. What is the name given to the tropic movement due to response towards water?
Hydrotropism.
Hydrotropism.
Very good, student. Again, student, today's classwork also I will post by evening in the group.